So I've been messing around in my closet and finding things that I have around. And because my desktop computer is still broken and not working, I thought, what would be wrong with putting a PlayStation 3 on top of it and trying to use it? The sad thing about this is that I can't use the PlayStation 3 for the main thing that I use it for, which is to play Black Ops Online. I can't do that right now. I cannot do that right now because this is a hacked PlayStation 3, which is why it was in my closet and why it's not in use. Of course, I can just reapply the hack at any point if I really want to do that. But when I bought it off of just some. Actually, was this the one that I bought or was this the one I found on the side of the road? I don't remember. But when I got this thing, no, this was the one I bought from a random eBay listing for like a really low price. When I got this one, it was not like just a regular PlayStation 3. They did not advertise that it was hacked. I wouldn't have bought it if I knew it was hacked because the actual process of getting this hack off of here is really annoying. It's really annoying because this thing is going to be formatting for approximately 4 hours and 38 more minutes. And it's been sitting here for like 20 minutes so far. It just got to this point. Like, bro, come on. But I digress. That's what has to happen. I have another PlayStation 3. I have one out in the living room, but it's plugged up to the living room TV for use in the living room. Like my family watches YouTube on there. I play video games out there when, I feel like disturbing the neighbors or whatever. I did not have really a way to mess with PlayStation 3 software in here. So I was like, fuck it, man. I got this empty spot. I got this empty spot right here. Nothing's being done with it. I got this monitor I'm never using because I have this huge ass, basically brick right here that I can't do anything with it. So I'm like, man, fuck it. Like, why not just plug it up? Like, fuck it, we ball. I thought of plugging it up to the big guy over here so I could get those beautiful HD CRT graphics on the console that was kind of made to be used with a TV like that. But like, I mean, this is a nice IPS screen. It's got a high refresh rate. I think we're good over here. But if I feel like maybe I want to play it in the bed type shit, I don't want to sit in the chair, I could like move it in this little corner right here, like maybe like up against the TV type shit, or like just lay it flat on the ground type of thing. But the one problem with that is like, as you can see, I've got this HDMI splitter. It's literally filled. I have my PlayStation 4 hooked up to that, my Xbox One, and my RetroTink 5X. So there's no more slots on the HDMI converter. And all of my component cable slots are in use as well because I have the Wii U hooked up in one component cable slot, and then I have the Xbox 360 hooked up in the other. So there's literally like no more mileage I can get out of this thing's AV ports. And oh my God, now it says it's going to be 5 hours and 10 minutes. It can't make up its damn mind. But that's okay. That's fine. And I went over here and I decided to hook my Super Nintendo back up because this thing was not getting any love in the closet. And the only reason it was in the closet was because I had to clean up over here. I had to do vacuuming because vacuuming is very important. And now it's been liberated. It has been liberated. I can't wait to start using this thing again on this special little TV I got over here. It's beautiful. We love the corner of pleasure. We love this special zone. The corner of that makes it sound like I do something else over here. This ain't that kind of video, man. But yeah, and I was straightening things over here, it needs more work. I need to make up my bed as well in just a moment. But I've been straightening things. I've got my Famicom. I've got my Famicom almost ready here to be used, which is going to be a lot of fun. It's just stray Dreamcast controllers on the floor for the moment. But yeah, I mean, I'm changing things up in here a little bit. It's becoming a little bit more active. Things are moving a little bit faster. We love to see it. We love the Osaka's game room, don't we, folks? We love the strange world, as I sometimes call it, the strange world. We love living in the strange world. I wish I had someone in here to live in the strange world with me. That would be nice. But you know, sometimes you gotta go solo on this earth. On my setup over here, I do something that I at least consider to be quite clever. Wait, okay, this isn't very cool. The cable organization could use some work, but there's this little slot right here in between where this shelf is, and then where this thing that holds my television is, and then this, and I put my power strip right here behind the television in this little slot so that it's not taking up more room on the floor. And I quite like this because, you know, you can walk through this little area to get to the closet or to get to the consoles or to get to all of this. So it's very nice to not have the space, you know, crowded by that. I filmed that last segment. I realized I could actually tell. Let me move this thing so I can sit here. By the way, I recently put a 1 terabyte SSD into this thing. It's one that I've had for a while. It was just in a different computer that I don't really use. And I put Manjaro on there. So I guess I'm a Manjaro user right now. The first thing that happened was the audio didn't work, which is, yeah, pretty typical of any Arch-based distro. I put Pulse Audio on there instead of the one it came with, and then audio really stopped working, even though Pulse Audio is better. So I will fix my audio problems eventually, but I'm not really messing with the laptop right now because of that. What I realized was I have not actually told the story of this PlayStation 3, why I even have it in the first place. I went on a trip with Sophia 2 years ago to Albuquerque. I went on a trip with her to Albuquerque. And during this time, I did not have my own room back at my dad's house. What I did was stay out either in the living room sometimes, or I would sleep in like what was his room, but then he was staying in my room because he was quote unquote working on it, and by that I mean he was just tearing things apart in there. And sometimes I would sleep outside because I didn't like the way the house smelled or like the health problems in there. It was a really miserable time for me because during that time, my room was like my safe place. It was like the most important place in the world to me. And I like all of the joy in my life that existed in the physical world pretty much exclusively came from my room. You know, it was the place that I really felt attached to, that like no matter how bad things get here, I feel okay because I have this place. And without my consent, that place was taken from me. And all the stuff that was in it that I spent a lot of time meticulously trying to figure out where it ought to go, how it ought to be, etc., was changed overnight. They changed all of it, and I didn't have my place anymore. So it was a very distressful time for me, but what got me through was playing PlayStation 3 out in the living room on my little CRT, the one that I have now over here. This thing was what I was playing on, and I played Call of Duty Black Ops. Let me see if I have my copy here. Call of Duty Black Ops online all the time. I was just playing. I was playing that game all the time over the internet, and that was how I made it through at the end of the day. Um, you know, I mean, like my life was pretty shit at the time. I didn't have privacy. I didn't have my own space. I didn't have all my stuff. And my girlfriend, then girlfriend, was really far away, like literally across the border. So I couldn't like easily get to her. And in general, it just felt like my life was really shit at the time. I was living in a house that had carbon monoxide in it. It just wasn't great. Um, and I get back from this trip to Albuquerque, and I'm really sad because, we did a lot of bonding over that trip. Um, and I didn't want to leave, I didn't want to go back home. Uh, and I get home and I find out that my PlayStation 3 is broken. The one that I had since I was a kid, that was one of the most sought after models. Like literally, it played PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, not through emulation, like it had the hardware inside of it. It had all of the like FireWire ports and the like Sony memory card ports and stuff. It had 4 USB outlets. Like that thing was loaded under the hood with stuff. And it's really hard to get models of the PlayStation 3 that are like that nowadays. They're pretty sought after, especially because they broke easily, like pretty much all the consoles during that generation. And I was very shocked to find out that my PlayStation 3 had been left on for the entire time that I had been gone. My mom would sleep next to it because the way it was set up was, there was the big chair she would sleep in. Then there was a little green table, and it had the PS3 and my television on it. And sometimes it would move, in order for me to sit in the chair and play. Usually I just sat on the couch out in the front, kind of a distance away from it. Um, but she she turns it on, I guess, in her sleep. There were conflicting stories. Once she said she turned it on in her sleep by accident. Another time she said that she was trying to turn it on to watch a movie and then like didn't know how to turn it back off. I got multiple different stories. Honestly, I don't know what happened. I think probably what happened was she turned it on somehow and then just didn't know how to turn it off. Because I came there, and the the light, it wasn't like the red light you see when you turn it off the regular way, and it like is indicating that it has power. The light was like orange or something. I forget precisely what the light looked like, but it was not it was not the regular PlayStation light. And I was like, oh God, what happened? What happened to my PlayStation 3? This is literally the one thing that's been getting me through this whole time. What the hell happened? And needless to say, I find out that thing is broken, and I'm really upset about it. Like I'm walking back and forth, like, I'm talking to her about it, like angrily, like, what, how did this happen? What's going on here? And she explains it to me, and I'm like, okay, I understand. Um, and and I ordered a new one off the internet. You know, my it what happens is I literally just saw a spider for the first time in my life ever in this place. I have never seen a spider in this apartment. I've been living in this apartment for 2 years, and I've never seen a spider in here before. That was whack, but I got rid of the little guy. Okay, so anyway, um, yeah, my girlfriend, then girlfriend at the time, gives me the money to get a couple things that I needed at the house and to replace my PS3, and I replace it with this fucking thing. And I wait for like 4 or 5 days for it to arrive by mail, and I get this big package at the door. I open it all up. There's like all these different controllers. There's fucking all these random loose games and stuff, and I'm so hyped, right? I plug it up, and instead of getting the regular PlayStation Start screen, what I get is that hacked opening. You know, that like hacked software opening instead of the regular Sony Start, and I'm like, "Oh God, I'm gonna have to reformat the disc." So I look around on it and I'm looking at the programs, I'm seeing what's going on, and I'm like, okay, time to reformat this thing. And this was after trying to connect to the internet first, just to see if I could potentially connect to the servers for the game, even though it was hacked. No, that was not possible. You're locked out of the internet. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to reformat this disk. And I go to reformat it, and I wait for like 30 minutes. It doesn't seem like it's making any progress, and then I'm like, I don't want to leave this thing on for God knows how long and not even know if it's even moving in the right direction, not even know if the system is actually reformatting. Because on that little CRT, you know, you're looking at content in 480i. You can't tell if this little bar has significantly moved until it's like at the point that it's at right now. So I was looking at it, like getting up really close, trying to squint my eyes at it, and I couldn't really see if any movement had been made. So I was just like, fuck this, man. Just let me just reboot. So I rebooted and I looked around and I was like, okay, he's got a copy of Infamous in there. I'm not even like a big fan of this game. I thought it looked gray and brown when it came out. I still think that. I'm not a big fan of like the open world dynamic, but like whatever, man. I'm gonna pop this fucker in. I'm gonna have a single player experience for once. Because remember, I wanted to play Black Ops Online because there's always people playing. At least there was back then. It may have slowed down a little bit now. I haven't turned on my PS3 out there in a couple months, so I don't know. But back then, you know, the game was still popping. There were still hundreds of people playing, and this was only, you know, a little over 2 years ago. Now I don't know what the state of the game is, but that's why I got the PS3. That was the activity that had me, you know, good enough to manage back then. So now, I was in this weird situation where I was trying to cope by playing Infamous, and it like wasn't really working, but I was still trying to do it, and I just felt like shit. I was listening to the PBS NewsHour while I was playing, and it was election season coverage, like primary coverage, and you know, you had all those candidates on the stage doing their thing, and I was just like, man, this fucking sucks. Like literally everything about this situation sucks. Like the world I'm in sucks. Like country I'm in sucks in a lot of ways. Yeah, I can't. I just want to play Call of Duty Black Ops on PlayStation 3, and I can't even do that. And I was really black pilled back then. And I've had this PS3 ever since. I've had it ever since. And I still haven't reformatted that disc to do the thing that I intended to do with it the whole time. In fact, I bought another PS3 before ever doing that, which is just a level of laziness that, frankly, I cannot comprehend at this point, given the amount of stuff that I do every single day. But there you go. It's a strange world out there. The other, frankly, kind of shallow and dumb reason I had bought a PS3 was because I wanted to actually replace the one that I had as a kid. You know, the one I had as a kid, it died out, it broke, se rompió, it was gone, and I did not, you know, I didn't know how to deal with the emotions of that, and so I was like, I need one that's exactly the same as that one, which is kind of a silly feeling, but it was a feeling that I was having at the time. And that is the one that exists out in the living room that you've seen videos of me and my wife do there, you know, of us playing multiplayer and stuff. It's a classic Osaka household item. But now I'm kind of changing the setup in here a little bit, which is exciting. So apparently, literally all of that was for nothing because the hack is still on here, and I could have looked this up, but there is actually a pretty complex process you have to go through to remove the hack. I thought it would be gone if you just factory reset the system, but no, that could not be less true. Um, so because this hack is on here, I'm going to just enjoy it for what it can do. I looked up, what Japanese games have been translated on the PS3, just to find out. And apparently, there was a spin-off of the Lost Planet series that was only released in Japan, and it had a fan translation for its PS3 version. So I was like, oh, all right. I guess I should download that and put it on a flash drive and move it to my hard drive then. Just play the fucking game. Because I mean, what's the point? I mean, obviously, obviously, if I own the game on a physical disc first, so that I'm not breaking the copyright. But I digress. Yeah, so it's like, why do I just not do that? Fuck it, man. Let's just play the hacked PS3. Who cares? This was what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to be in safe mode the whole time. Serious error has occurred. Uh-oh. What kind of serious error? Is my system bricked now? Maybe.